Hey there, Combo Cabal. I'm Bryant Cook, and the Birgi video I uploaded today for Modern was so successful, I had people asking me to record one for Pioneer. I just finished recording the Eternal Glory podcast, and it went well, but everyone was so thankful for the Modern video today, and I just want to make another video for you all. I really do appreciate the support. It's the first video I've ever uploaded that's broken 1,000 views in under 12 hours, which is nuts. I've never even had a video break 1,000 views in 24 hours. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm here to show that appreciation just a little bit. So in front of you, oh, I just realized I made a mistake. I'll get to it in a second. In front of you is a list that we're going to play today. So the main difference between this list and the list that I uploaded recently with the first no Fae list that I've published is Birgi over Valakut Awakening. I actually really like Valakut Awakening, but people wanted to see Birgi, so we're playing Birgi tonight. Valakut Awakening has been incredible. I've yet to play Birgi and Pioneer. Maybe it's better. I don't know. But in order to play Birgi, we're running a second copy of Ketra's Triumph over one of the Bark Channel pathways. And then the change that I meant to show you was Aetherflux Reservoir over Expansion Explosion. Reservoir was actually really good against the aggro decks because it's a less mana, it's less costly, like it's more mana efficient when you're winning rather than Expansion Explosion, and it's cheaper than Double Approach. What it requires is a very high storm count. So this list is actually what I recorded with last time, but with Expansion Explosion there. So I guess I could update that now. Whoops. Let's put that back. So this is actually what I uploaded with last time. So this was the list that I played in my last Pioneer video. This is what we're playing tonight. I've played the Reservoir in 2 leagues. It's been great. There's been a couple times where I haven't been able to win the game against Red, but I do a mini combo turn on a turn where I know that I can't win. And then I just play Reservoir and then play like double strategic planning, gain 16 life and pass, and then that allows me to untap and win the game, which is good enough in my opinion. So Aetherflux Reservoir has been honestly a little bit of a delight. Like I've actually really liked it. It also allows you to beat things like Gideon pretty easily because like by the time you're ready to win, you can probably shoot Gideon and then them, which is kind of nice. Yeah, like I said, I've actually really liked Valakut Awakening. I'm not sure that Birgi will be better, but you don't know until you try it, and that's what we're here to do. So the other change between these two lists is that you'll notice there's 3 dispute in this list, and then there's none in this one. I've played Dispute a bunch. I don't know if it's actually good. Against the Wilderness Rec decks, they do get out of range for Dispute pretty quickly. And something like Sphinx is really nice at making sure that your approaches resolve, which is kind of huge. Grasping Dunes is a tutorable way with Sylvan Scrying to be able to kill Notion Thief, and it's uncounterable too, which is pretty nice. So we're trying that out. Those are the differences. So Aetherflux Reservoir over Expansion Explosion, Birgi's over Valakut Awakening, and a slight shift in the mana base, and then the disputes for these. So some changes. We'll see how it goes. I'm just excited to play Birgi. I know that you're excited to watch this considering how well the Pioneer or how well the Modern content did. Why don't we just jump right on in and start playing some Pioneer? And this is the second copy, so I need to switch that over. So we see the Birgi there. Let's submit and let's hop right on in queue. And while we wait, why don't you scroll down and hit that subscribe button? Show your appreciation for this content. Make sure to subscribe. But while you're in the description area, you might as well expand it and follow all of our social media channels and groups. Make sure to do that. Show your appreciation. And I would be thankful. So make sure to do that, please. Welcome to match number 1. We're facing Lewis is my dog. We don't know if they're on control or oops all spells, but there's 80 cards in their deck. We've opened up a hand with only one land. So here, Valakut Awakening would make this hand close to a keep. I don't know if it actually would be, but regardless, we can't keep that. And we could probably keep this, bottoming. It's either a Vizier or a Balaged. In my opinion, it's going to be Balaged. I think the Vizier is slightly more valuable. Alright, and it's an actual control deck, not oops. Choosing to play out the Balaged here. So if you think about how this game plays out, turn 2 we're going to play Sanctum, turn 3 Lotus, turn 4 this is an untapped land, and that's why I chose to play Balaged. So I'm thinking 3 turns in advance. Triome. Okay, so we can play out this planning here. Take the other planning, I suppose. This tough? Nope, Yorion. I just made a mistake. I shouldn't have played that. That was a mistake on my part in case I drew strings here. Let's separate those. I don't like those being so close. Let's resolve this pour while our opponent's tapped out. I can also get rid of this second brawl. I don't need all these lands, though, so I think I might actually keep the second brawl around. And I can actually play this pour. Are we trying to win this turn? I don't know. I feel like I'm going for the win right now. I don't know if I've ever won off 2 lands on turn 4 before. But we're going for it, I guess. That wasn't very good. So I can play Birgi here and discard some stuff trying to hit strings. Let's play the horn. Maybe I want to keep a red floating in case I reveal the other one. So Vizier's pretty good there. There's Birgi. Really need to hit strings, though. There's Reservoir. So that's the card that I was thinking of the entire time, that if we're going to win this turn, it's going to be a Reservoir win. But there's still no hidden strings there. Okay, so why don't we cycle... Ooh, I can't cycle. That's interesting. All right, and I hit hidden strings. Okay. Okay, so if I played Birgi, I would have... I still can't cycle the Vizier. And our opponent's just going to concede. I think that was a little preemptive. Maybe they got bored. Um, but I can cast Pour there, which is a break even on mana. I think we would probably eventually get this game, but it's tough to say. Pour with Horn is really good, though, because it allows us to just dig really deep. So that was cool. I mean, our opponent got a little bored of us, but I did the right thing, I think. Like, we were going to win that game. Let's board in these huge cards, board out these grazers. I mean, that was probably better than Valakut, that game, maybe? It's tough to say. Let's try this. So it's worth noting that Valakut Awakening would not be any better than a Birgi here. They're about on par here. So I think I'm actually going to bottom the Vizier. That's actually interesting. So if you think about how this game plays out, the Vizier would actually be pretty good if you were trying to go for it on turn 4. But I think it's probably better to keep Sphinx. And Sphinx doesn't play well with Birgi. Or Birgi. I switch how I say it. I don't really have a correct pronunciation. But I think that's probably the play. So one of the better things we could do is actually just draw a land. So that way we're not sacrificing... Well, another scrying is a good draw too. But that way we're not sacrificing Thespian Stage to Lotus Field. And there's a field. That was an actual pretty good draw. So now this can get another stage. But if this gets countered, we're also okay with that. So let's see if we can get this counterspelled too, because I don't care if this gets countered anymore. And that resolved. Why don't we get another stage? So the reason I got another stage, and I considered a blast zone there, was that we do need 7 mana for Sphinx. And if we had 9 mana, I could Sphinx into strings. Dolan's Veto in your Fires deck. That's interesting. Brawl. I think I'm just going to copy for now. It's interesting. Valakut Awakening and Birgi both suffer from the same downfall where you need cards in hand. It's just worth pointing that out. They put Yorion into their hand. They can actually cast Yorion for free here. And blink the guide and exile another card. We don't really care about that much. I see your Yorion. I raise you a 5/5. Counter that. That is a Shark Typhoon. Our opponent cannot play spells right now. And I think I'm just going to keep the blue floating. I think it's probably a little bit better here. Let's start off by discarding the stage. Reservoir. Is it better to cast Planning? Because we get to see one card deeper, or discard? It's the question if we value the mana higher or lower at the moment. I think I'm going to try for the horn here. Hidden Strings. Now we put it on the Sphinx. And we attack. And this counts as another spell for Reservoir. And now we make another Lotus. Unfortunately, we didn't win that turn, but that's okay. Try again next turn. I do think there's a little bit of natural tension between us running Brawl and the Horn, but also Sphinx and Horn. Like, Horn seemed fine this game, and like it seems like it's pretty comparable, the Valakut Awakening. But that's just match number 1. We'll see how it is in the rest of the matches. But it's been, weird. I guess that's one way of saying it. We've gotten to see more cards off of the Horn, and that's the real benefit, I think, than you would off Valakut Awakening. Like, we get to see 4 cards there instead of 2. So maybe that's better in that scenario. Welcome back for round number 2. We are on the play. Our opponent has 80 cards in their deck, so I'm willing to bet that there's a Yorion revealed, and I'm pretty sure that I've played this person somewhat recently on Oops All Spells. They just ring a bell, so I'm going to assume that they're on Oops once again. The goal against Oops is to keep fast hands, especially in Game 1. They tend to be a little bit faster than us. We do have these 3 copies of Tormod's Crypt if they are on Oops. If they're on a control deck, we board the same way we did last round with 2 Sphinx. And then I guess we didn't board in the Dunes, but the Niv Mizzets. We really only board in Dunes versus Notion Thief decks. Waiting for our opponent to join us here. I suppose while we wait, make sure to subscribe to the Eternal Glory podcast. I actually recorded it tonight, as I mentioned, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher, where we primarily discuss Legacy. Make sure to check that out. We are on all major podcast platforms. All right. Opponents here. We do not have access to a Lotus. We do have some like lands and stuff. Like, does this planning find Lotus, I guess, is the big thing here. I'm gonna hope so. Because this hand has pretty much everything else we would need. All right, our opponent has mulliganed. They're very deliberate. Okay. So I'm going to just lead on Sanctum Pass. You could lead on the Triome, but if we're doing our job this game, we're never going to. So this looks like oops. We're never going to be in a position where we want to play that land. All right, I don't mind that as a draw, but we really need to hit Lotus here. No Lotus. Yep. In a little bit of trouble. I'm going to cycle because if we hit Lotus, I can still play Brawl. Actually, that's not true. I guess I could play Brawl with off the stage, which is what I was originally thinking. All right, please don't kill me. And it looks like we are dead. So we're not dead right now. We'll be dead on their next turn. The problem is we don't have a draw here that saves us. So what happens is the Narcomoeba triggers, and they also have Creeping Chill, which triggers the Ghoul. It's like Silver Smoke Ghoul or something like that. So those also trigger the Amalgams. They all come back, and they put the Silver Smoke Ghouls into play, and then they stack it so that way the Amalgams come back on my end step, and then they have 2 World Spine Worms that get shuffled back in. All right, so in games where your opponents happen to have a sweeper, what they can do is there's a haunted dead in here where they discard these 2 cards, and from there they can keep on discarding haunting deads or keep on discarding worms to the deads, and they never deck themselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Even if we draw Lotus, I don't believe I can win. And that is not Lotus. All right, we're going to go to game 2. Bring in these crypts. I don't know if this is a Birgi match. Is it really like one planning here? Might just be this. In theory, what you could do is just board out the approach and only win with the reservoir, but they board a needle, and I don't want to lose to needle. Let's try this out. This seems fine. Leading on the Balagad recovery. And that's because what we can do is on turn 2, we can play our Catcher Triome, put in Lotus Field. And I guess it doesn't really matter, but the big thing is that you can't put Balagad into play off of Grazer. So you really want to play those first. All right. Really want to draw Lotus Field. That's our best draw. Or not Lotus Field, Thespian Stage, I'm sorry. Did not draw it. We're just going to pass here. Let's play out that win con. And it looks like we're dead. We don't have a draw here that stops them from doing their thing. So they did a turn 4 with Natural State. It's pretty good. So I guess maybe one of our better draws. I don't even know if that would be good enough, actually, because we're at 8. No, I don't think it is. Now we dig for a graveyard. I was originally going to say that, what is it called? Sylvan Scrying would have been a really good draw there because we could have played 3 spells, but like that's not going to keep us alive against all their stuff, and then they have amalgams coming back. I guess if we hit Tormod's Crypt plus maybe. Well, there's Crypt. Can't really use another Lotus field. So maybe we take the planning here. Wow. Okay. Should I be boarding in anger? They do have 8 discard spells, so I don't know how good anger actually is. Problem is, I also don't know what I board out. Like, everything is so vital. I think you almost have to take out strategic planning, and I don't think that's right. But I suppose what you could do is you could do like 2 anger, 2 grazer. Maybe something like that. But grazer is like a card you want in your 7. I don't know. Let's try this, I guess. Because like we might be able to get them with grazer after they lost, or might be able to get them with anger after they lost game 2 to putting their trigger back. So maybe now they'll put all their stuff into play and then we can just anger them. Let's try it. Reservoir definitely won us our game 2 though. Like the fact that it gained a bunch of life was huge. Our opponent's going to 4. I think I'm just going to cycle this Vizier now. A little bit worried about a Duress or Thoughtseize next turn off of their black source. But I guess we can't cast Dig anyway. Come on, Tormod's Crypt. Jeez. We're in trouble. We're going to lose to their Mold at 4. Yep. It doesn't do anything. Come on, Duck. think we're just dead. They decided not to go for it. That's interesting. Well, now they can just get Oracle. Yep. We lost to the remote of 4, and they would have won through Graveyard Hate if we had it. So it looks like they have a World Spine in hand. Yeah, I mean, they beat us on a 4. Our deck didn't do anything. I do think our 7 was a keep, but we didn't draw anything that game. Lotus conceding, go to the third match, but that puts us to 1-1. Unfortunately, our draw didn't come together, but I do think that's sometimes what happens when you board out strategic planning and Birgi and stuff. We didn't draw any of the board cards, though, so who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a good excuse. Yeah, 1-1. Match number 3, we're facing Daniel Pena, who has a 60-card deck. That said, they revealed Lotus, which usually means that they're playing an aggressive deck. Yeah. Well, what does that mean for us? We have access to Lotus. We have Approach. Really wish we had a Grazer, but this hand is definitely a keep. And our opponent is mulliganed. Let's see Grazer off the top rope. Another scrying isn't the worst. Usually these white decks have a lot of 1 converted mana cost cards, so this Blast Zone can end up being pretty useful. There's this Ram. I like the field draw. Let's go get stage. Being on the draw here is kind of tough. Taking 6. We're still 2 turns away from using Blast Zone. Come on, give me a Grazer. Dig. Alright, so if I cycle this Vizier, that puts 4 cards to the graveyard. And then we have 3 mana, which is 1 short of Dig Through Time. I'm just going to cast Scrying here. It gets to the card to the graveyard for Dig, and we're just going to pick up a Triome. We have to hope that we're able to untap. Which might not be the case. Like, we could just be dead here. Alright, so 9. That's going to put us to 5. Blast Zone could, in theory, blow up most of their board, but they're going to draw a card off of this. And if they put Lurrus to their hand, well, creature gains indestructible. That doesn't stop the Blast Zone, actually. So they could save these 2 But that's still 3 damage, so they would just need a couple enchantments. I think I'm probably better off starting on cycling this Vizier. Give me a Hidden Strings, come on. Okay, Doc, I see you, I hear you, and I appreciate you. We're not out of the woods yet. That could have been better. What to do? So I can take the guaranteed approacher, which would put us to 12, but our opponent has 11 damage in hand or in play already. Like, how good is that actually? So instead, I'm going to play Brawl here. I guess I could just dig, because if I dig and hit exactly poor, I can keep on going. But if I play Brawl first, it ends up being better for the long run. I'm going to go for a long run. It might be a mistake, but that's what I'm playing for here. Is I want to win. I don't want to just get by. All right, let's cycle. Grazer. Okay, so I'm just trying to think through my options here. Yeah, it's probably better to cast this first. Poor. One short of casting Poor, unfortunately. So this dig needs to hit a Hidden Strings. We did not hit Hidden Strings. Oh, good chance we're dead now. Oh, we're dead on board, actually. We are dead on board. That means that we saw the top half of our deck, and there's 1 strings. I mean, that happens sometimes, but it's still a little bit of a feel bad. And unfortunately, there's just nothing we can do here. Double strings. Alright. Slap in the face. Let's go to game 2. I actually like bringing in Bolt here. I find that Birgi's probably going to be a little bit slow. It's just really tough getting 5 mana to... I don't know, maybe I should keep it in for science. Get rid of the plannings. What I would normally do here is I would board out the Valcuts and then, like, that. No, screw it. I'm just not going to board and bolt. Like, they have the dogs anyway. Like, bolt can be good, but a lot of the time it's not. We're just going to try to be efficient. No green source. Have to ship this. Is this better than a 5? I think you're supposed to keep this and just hope to get lucky. Like, a blue source off the top would just be incredible. Come on, deck. Give me a blue source. Ding. So it's a trap to block here because there is a 1-mana pump spell that gives indestructible. I'm just going to take it. The 1 damage isn't worth it. Another brawl was not what the doctor ordered. Really want to land off this. Did not hit a land, but I guess we take the Sylvan Scrying. They're still trying to get me on the pump spell, and I'm just not going to bite. And I could block because I have the second brawl, but that's mana that I have to waste that I don't really want to waste. So I want to think this through. So let's say I play Birgi here. That means I have 2 mana. I can scrying, copy. So I think this Grazer is also actually free. Which is kind of cool. That is a very large creature. And they still have the pump spell open. I think we're just dead. It's so obvious that they have it too. So they trample over. Yeah, okay, so we died. Alright, 1-2. Okay, so we're 1-2, not the best record. I don't know how much of that is Birgi's fault, though. It was certainly interesting in our last game. We're on the draw against Cold Pier, who has revealed a Lotus. We have Grazer, which is obviously great. We're going to try this out. The Rakdos deck. Is it weird that I think the pick here is actually Grazer? Our opponent agrees. So I'm trying to think so far about how I feel about Birgi over Veilcoat Awakening. I do think that in matchups like Oops and the Black White deck, Veilcoat Awakening is lower to the ground. Like I can play it off of a Lotus to help dig for Thespian Stage. It's not a 5 mana card where I need mana floating in order to win. So I think like I'm probably still liking Awakening more, especially because I can play it as a land to sack a Lotus. But Birgi, it's interesting. We'll see how it plays out the rest of the league. All right, they put lures to their hand. I think I'm just gonna get the other Triome. Double cycle land. You'll love to see it. Nothing to flash back. Perfect. Okay, so next turn we can theoretically cast Approach. If they have a land, they can actually play Croxa again, and they can. This turn we can discard Grazer. And another Croxa. Okay, so we're going to be Hellbent. Now we go to 8, so we only have a couple more turns left. I think I have to hold it to discard. Like, our opponent has 5 cards in hand. Playing this as a blocker is not an option. If they don't have spells in graveyard for Dreadhorde, it's because they're holding all removal. So on our turn, we're really looking to draw Pour Over the Pages or Dig Through Time. Those are the 2 cards we really want to see. And Claim to Fame is just going to kill us here, I believe. Nope, I guess we go to 1. Strings will not do. I don't really like Grazer in these matchups. Like, I wonder if Torment's Crypt is crazy. Yeah, I don't think I want Torment's Crypt. Don't think I mind, like, increasing my land count a little bit. Let's try this out. We'll at least cycles, and it's like back up for like some crazy world where our opponent has like a damping sphere or something. So we'll try that. I am a really big fan of Aetherflux Reservoir, despite how our record finishes in this league. I do really, really like Reservoir over Expansion Explosion. I'm not super sold on the Birgi yet. But that one interaction with playing Grazer to make a mana and then Sylvan Scrying to make a mana was really cool when we had all that going on. We didn't win, but it was like a really neat interaction. And I guess while we wait, make sure to subscribe. Go to the description below, join all of our social groups, follow, etc. On the play for game number 2. Seems fine. No Lotus. I'm going to take the planning. I'm going to keep digging. I also have a feeling that Brawl would not live very long. There's the Dreadhorde. Ding! Ooh, that's a really good start. I imagine Niv's going to go here and probably dig. Let's go, opponent. Come on. You literally get to pick two. Just like pick one, attack, pick another. It's easy. Those were literally the two that I figured out in 5 seconds. Let's go, opponent. Come on. So I'm cycling here because if we cycle, we can cast Strategic Planning this turn, and it saves on mana. Opponent deep in the tank. It looks like they're just going to attack. Okay, so that's 5 damage. They're going to bring it back now? It appears to be the case. Alright, so we're going to try to win now. It was a good one. We definitely need these untapped, so I'm doing that regardless. Alright, so we have double hidden strings, which means we need this Balagad. I wonder if I should actually be getting Niv Mizzet here. So if I spend the... Yeah, I think I get Niv. This is actually really sweet. Niv plus Horn. This is wild. Okay, so... You want to cast these because they get you back more cards. Yeah, like that combo is insane. But any bad draw you get, you play with Horn, and it's just bananas. So that was a really cool win. And who doesn't love a good banana, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just spewing random gibberish. I wonder if anger is better than wilt. Like maybe let's do that instead. Let's try this. And while we wait, if you want to show your appreciation for this Birgi content, visit theepicstorm.com/shop to show your appreciation. We have tons of cool things like the mini token pack, the Storm 20 baseball tee, pint glasses, and much more. That is theepicstorm.com. Game number 3 on the draw. We have the Reservoir. Reservoir. I don't even know what kind of accent that was, but we have the Reservoir. It's like if you're French and from New York. Our opponent is mulliganed. I'm just trying to get back to 3-2. That's what I would like to finish as. And they have the turn 1 discard spell. I imagine that this takes planning and not brawl. Ooh, took brawl. Yep. And there's the Lotus. So our opponent's going to be pressured into taking anger here. And if they don't, we can actually anger them on our turn. Let's say they take poor. I can anger their board. Come on, just take the poor. It'll be fine. Our opponent made the correct decision. Jeez. Getting crushed. I guess I cast this? Oh, I exiled one too many cards. Even in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going to pay 3 and exile 5, and it's just not what I did. So we're taking 5 here. They have 9. So we're going to go to 14. We're actually fairly close to dead. We only have one other anger in the deck, so we're not likely to draw it. We can't actually cast the poor for what it's worth. And I think our opponent made the correct decision because we can't actually play the poor. So the best thing we can do is play Reservoir and then hope to get lucky. And wow, that was a good draw. So that's 10 damage on board. I just think we're probably dead here. Anger of the gods off the top. Let's go. Anger, anger, anger. Not anger of the gods, but at least we can cast our pour. Triple land? Killing me, Smalls. I don't think we actually have an out off of just a strategic planning. Pretty sure we're just dead. Triple land off pour was brutal. And triple land off planning. Yikes, 1-3. Okay, let's see if we can scrape back 50 play points. Sure. Our opponent mulliganed. Are we playing the mirror? Good draw. We are. We're playing the mirror. Either way, Lotus wins, right? It's just basic math. Cypher onto this brawl, so that way they have to play a blocker next turn. Let's cycle this. Alright, not a spell. Would have been nice to hit like a pier or something there. Instead we just have to pass. Why did I say pier? A pour. And there's Vizier. So it's better here to do it this way because this represents one more permanent untapped. Come on, deck. Unfortunate. Just have nothing going on. I guess here this would have been better as expansion explosion, but I still like this more in general. It's just because we're starving for um, action, even though we don't have it. They're going for it. Womp womp. Do I even want to show them Reservoir? Like, I'm thinking about just conceding here. So expansion explosion would have been good here. Um, but I feel like that's like cherry picking situations almost. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. That's unfortunate. We were definitely ahead in the early game. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. And if you're interested in the Epic Storm mini token pack, you get 54 tokens overall, 6 different mana symbols, 1 storm symbol. Like I said, 54 tokens. 9 different goblin tokens on the back. And they're mini. They're half the size of a standard Magic the Gathering card. You can get those at theepicstorm.com/shop. Okay, game number 2 on the play. Sure. Didn't really need another Lotus. Fine draw. You might be questioning why I played Ketra on turn 1. I didn't think that we would be in this position, if I'm being completely honest. I didn't see myself needing to cycle that in an aggressive combo mirror, but here we are in a spot where maybe I would consider cycling it based on what happened. So once again on our turn, we're going to be in a spot where we need action spells. All right, let's start off the cycling. I think you're supposed to take the hidden strings here. It's more mana. Get back strategic planning. I'm liking this. I think I'd rather have a dig over a pour. And that's why. Okay, so here we can play Birgi, or Birgi. I don't know how to say it, so don't judge me. Not the best so far, that's for sure. Let's play the pathway. And obviously we're in a spot now where this is just bananas. I don't even know if I want to play the Niv Mizzet. Like, it seems kind of risky, right? It's not letting me undo. Let's discard a land. There's approach. And this actually is a break even on mana, which is kind of cool. The colors of mana you don't get to choose, but still kind of cool, right? All right, we took game number 2. That was a game where having both copies of Birgi looked pretty good. So it's been close. I do think that Reservoir is just a pretty big upgrade over Expansion Explosion, personally. I'm not sure how I feel about Birgi versus Veilcut Exploration yet. Or Veilcut Awakening yet. I'm sorry. Awakening, not Exploration. All right, we're going to run it back. We're on the draw now, though, which is pretty scary. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. Okay, our opponent's kept 7. We have a reasonable hand here. This is a turn 4 Lotus. We're going to try it. I mean, both lands, not just Lotus. Come on. Grazer, Grazer, Grazer. We're going to go get stage here. So if we draw a Vizier or planning in a Vizier, we can attempt a turn 4. And they have Veilcut Awakening. Great card. There's the Vizier that we needed. So we can actually attempt to win this on our turn 4. We can't do it this turn. Uh-oh. Are we dead? That's a good sign. So we're getting a chance. That might seem like a good draw. I'm not sure if it actually is. Now we dig. Hope to get a little bit lucky. So this is a spot where Birgi isn't good enough because we can't, well, at least the front half, we can't use it to keep on going. But we can use Birgi to fuel dig, which is kind of interesting, actually. So we can play Birgi and have 3 mana up. Brawl. Brawl's nice, but like we need a hidden strings. There we go. I mean, I think Birgi might have won this game if I'm being completely honest. Alright, so now we dig. We only have one hidden strings left in the deck. I just want to point that out. Double pour is insane. Yeah, this is actually feels like kind of degenerate. We're 1 mana short from being able to pour. And there's the last hidden string, so that's actually going to do it. So Birgi in this match felt really good. Triple Veil gets kind of funny. Wait, was that? Oh no! That's not a win. I didn't cast it from my hand. It went back into my deck. Oh, that was so dumb. Oh, that almost cost me. Well, I just learned a lesson that don't try to cast approach off of the horn. All right, so we got the pity 2-3. Uh, let's go look at the deck list again. Do we think that this Birgi was better than Valakut Awakening would have been? Probably, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm not sure. Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this was a 2-3 league. Reservoir single handedly won us the match against, or won us the game against Oopsal Spells in game 2. That seemed really good there. It would have been okay against the black white deck had we had more resources. Um, I really do like Reservoir more than I like Expansion Explosion. I think it adds a lot of potential to the deck. Expansion Explosion would have been better in our game 1 again in the mirror, but that's not the end of the world. Sphinx was really good in our first round. Dunes never mattered. We did board it in one game as an extra land to reduce mulligans. Yeah, so I know that this was only a 2-3 league, but I'm really interested in hearing your feedback. I'd like to let me know what you think, so I can weigh some of this stuff. I think Birgi looked better, but I'm not entirely sure. But once again, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Take care. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.